Hello people, welcome to the People Building video podcast. I want to talk to you once again about creativity because today I found a really interesting article on scientificamerican.com if you'd like to look up the full article. And it's talking about how we can increase our creativity really easily. Now this is very exciting because a lot of the time we think about creativity as something that's just part of our genetic makeup, and you either have it or you don't have it. You've either got loads or you've got very little. But actually what this is teaching us in this article is that you can increase your own levels of creativity. So the question is, how do you do it? The answer is psychological distance. So according to the construal level theory, or CLT, of psychological distance, anything that we don't experience as happening now, here, and to ourselves falls into the psychologically distance category. Now, it's also possible to increase that state of psychological distance by thinking about things from another person's perspective, for example, or thinking about a particular question as if it were more unlikely or less real. Now, doesn't that sound like a particular NLP technique where you start thinking about a problem from someone else's perspective? Does to me. So there was this paper by Lil Jai and colleagues at the University of Indiana in Bloomington, and in this the scientists have demonstrated that increasing psychological distance so that a problem feels further away will actually increase your creativity towards solving that problem. So if you take, for example, a plant and you see that plant close up, then when you see it close up there are certain things that you notice about it. It, for a start, is much more concrete and real because it's closer to you. So you might notice the colour, perhaps the texture of the leaves. If it was an edible plant, then you might think about how it tastes. Whereas if you see it off in the distance, that's when you've increased your psychological distance, so the whole thing becomes a bit more abstract. And you might notice different things about it, such as perhaps it could be a source of energy, or a food to feed many millions of people if it were grown in abundance. So you start to get more creative when you actually have some physical distance from something. So the reason why this is useful for us is because this can be really good for helping us to solve our problems. If we have an issue and we want to resolve it, then a great thing for us to do is to get some creative inspiration as to how we can fix that problem. And now we know to get creative inspiration for fixing problems, all we need to do is take a step back and get some distance. This is how the article is summarised in the scientificamerican.com article that is written here. It says, this research has important practical implications. It suggests that there are several simple steps we can all take to increase our levels of creativity, such as travelling to faraway places, or even just thinking about being in such places. Thinking about the distant future, communicating with people who are dissimilar to us, and considering unlikely alternatives to reality. Perhaps the modern environment, with its increased access to people, sights, music and food, and faraway places, helps us to become more creative, not only by exposing us to a variety of styles and ideas, but also by allowing us to think more abstractly. So, the next time you're stuck on a problem that seems impossible, don't give up. Instead, try to gain a little psychological distance and pretend the problem came from somewhere far, far away. And there we go. Now, creativity ties in with the special offer that I have for you today. If you click on the link below, then you'll be taken to the video podcast page where you will find a product for you today which is all about creativity for your children. And the reason why I've got something for your children today is because this Saturday it's going to be the NLP for Kids licensee training. From Saturday till Tuesday next week, I will be teaching other people how to do the NLP techniques with children, and they will be working under the umbrella of NLP for Kids thereafter, and I'm very excited about it. So go take a look at that creativity product for your children that I have for you on the video podcast page, and I'll speak to you all in a couple of weeks.